by the way, stick to the end. If you want to get this automation, I can send over the template to you. So just DM me on my socials and let me know that you're interested. And I will send over the file so you can just download it and operate the whole system for yourself. Hey guys, how are you doing? It's Murat Çetin back again with the new automation system for your cold email campaigns. If you have the issue, you have two different sheets with information and you want to merge them together, but you don't know how, and you have been doing this manually maybe, or didn't know that something like this was possible, let me show you how that works and why it's better to automate the whole system. So this is a very real case we had for a client, and we were scraping information about job posts for a client, and you get all of the information about all of the open job positions that you can scrape from an open database. But how do you get the decision makers? Maybe there are multiple decision makers. Maybe you don't only want to talk to the CEOs, but for the hiring managers, to the head of engineering, for example, or any other decision makers. And at the best case, you want to talk to multiple of people to make sure, get in touch with different decision makers to make sure you maximize the opportunities and also you maximize the chances of getting a reply and book an appointment with them. So here on this sheet, we have different columns with all of the different information about the open job positions. You have the role name, you have like the job links, you have the company names, the websites, the company LinkedIn, and anything else. And now you take all of this data, you go to a tool like Apollo, enrich all of this information. For example, what I did here is I took all of the website URLs, put it in Apollo, and scraped the data of the decision makers that were important for this specific campaign. And now when we go to the second sheet, now we have all of the different decision makers. For one company, we have only one decision maker that fits the criteria. For another company, we have 4 decision makers, and we don't want to lose anybody. We don't want to waste any resources. What we also have is we have the email addresses, we have the locations, we have the LinkedIns of the decision makers, the websites, the LinkedIn company, and the social accounts. What we have to do now is we want to merge both sheets together, and the idea is you want to have, for example, if a company has 3 different open job positions and they have 4 decision makers for each, you want to target each decision maker with each open job position and also with a specific copy related to that job role. This is where the automation comes in place that I've built. So first of all, the trigger of the campaign is a manual trigger. And what you have to do is, these are both the Google Sheets. I've put both in one sheet and we have 2 different tabs. And the third tab is where both files are merged. And the important thing you need to do here is you need to set the correct fields depending on which will be the key identifier for both sheets to merge them both together. So for example, common things in both sheets are the company name and the LinkedIn website URL. But what you need to make sure is that both of them are formatted the same. So for example, for one company, if it's called 21X and the other one is called 21X Limited, it won't match. So you need to make sure to manually have a process in place, and we also have automations for that to make sure both columns are formatted accordingly, correctly, in the same way to make sure they can match together. So this is one step before you have to do the merger. So this is also another step I wanted to do to make sure that both are formatted correctly. In a third step, you say the automation to combine both sheets depending on the key identifier. So I have done examples where I have formatted the LinkedIn URLs. For others, I have done it with the company name. And I've also done both to maximize the chances that if you have a very big list with tens of thousands of leads, to make sure you maximize the chances to not lose or waste any data that you have scraped and where you paid money for. And what you do next is you need to set the final columns to make sure they are formatted correctly again, export them to the CSV and upload it finally to Google Drive so that you can just open the new sheet and just copy and paste it here in a new tab. And this is how the sheet looks at the end after formatting, after making sure that you split the first names, that you format the company names again, where you have the email addresses for all. And there's also another automation that I do to make sure when you have an email provider where you put in all of the email addresses, all of the sheets, that they not get marked as duplicates, so you again waste a lot of leads. So what I've done is I had the idea to add to the email addresses, to replace the add with +1, +2, +3 for each email address to make sure we maximize the chances of getting a reply, and also making sure that the email sending provider doesn't mark them as duplicates, so all of the work that you have done before is lost and wasted. Another thing I did is here formatting the role names that people want to hire for, to make sure when you have specific copy for each role that you make sure that you choose the specific one and that the role names are also formatted correctly so that it comes very naturally when used in a cold email, in a conversation. And this is just one part of the whole strategy and a part of a bigger automation process. So if you're interested in learning more and in us implementing all of the systems for you, so you don't have to go back and forth troubleshooting, making sure that you do all of the steps correctly, you can book a call with me in the description, and I'm looking forward to work with you.